Don't touch that casket. You've taken enough already, my brother snapped, grabbing my wrist in front of everyone. I froze as heads turned. You think she didn't know? He added. I swallowed hard because I knew something he didn't. My name is Danielle Brooks, and I'm 34 years old. I work as a home healthcare aide, long hours, low pay, but I stayed because I believed in caring for people when it mattered most. In my family, I was always the quiet one, the one who stayed behind while others chased bigger things. My older brother, Eric, was the one they always praised, successful, loud, confident. When our mom got sick, he visited once a month. I moved in. I cooked, cleaned, managed her meds, and held her hand through nights when she couldn't breathe. But to everyone else, it didn't look like much. No promotions, no flashy life, just sacrifice. I wasn't rich or glamorous, but I had something they didn't expect. And the day of her funeral, everything I gave, everything I endured was about to be twisted into something ugly. If you've ever been the one who showed up while everyone else took credit, this story is for you. Hit subscribe and tell me, have you ever been overlooked by your own family? I read every comment, and trust me, sometimes the truth doesn't stay buried. Let's go. The church was quiet. Too quiet, like even the walls were holding their breath. I stood near my mother's casket, the smell of lilies heavy in the air, pressing into my chest as I tried to whisper a final goodbye. My fingers brushed the polished wood, and that was when Eric grabbed me. His voice cut through the silence. "You drained her savings while pretending to care for her," he shouted. People turned instantly. Faces I knew my whole life suddenly looked at me like I was a stranger. I tried to speak. "That's not true, Eric, you know it." He laughed, sharp and cruel. "I've got proof." He pulled out papers, shaking them in the air. "Bank statements, transfers. You thought no one would notice?" A distant aunt stepped closer, her voice low but sharp. "Danielle, how could you?" My chest tightened. I opened my mouth again, but Eric talked over me, louder each time. "She played the role so well, didn't she? The devoted daughter." Whispers spread like wildfire. People moved away from me like I carried something contagious. The funeral turned into something ugly, something loud and public. Eric leaned in close and said, "After the burial, the lawyer will confirm everything. Let's see what you say then." And in that moment, I understood. This wasn't grief, this was planned. At the graveside, I felt it, the shift. People who once hugged me now avoided my eyes. One cousin gently said, "Maybe let Eric handle things for now." Handle things, like I didn't belong. I stood there as dirt hit the casket, each sound heavy, final, and I realized I was being pushed out of my own family. I heard whispers behind me. Maybe she did take advantage. It stung more than I expected. At the reception, it got worse. Eric moved through the room like he owned it, shaking hands, telling his version of the story. "She knew Mom couldn't keep track of her accounts," he said to a group near the window. I stepped forward. "That's not what happened." No one listened. One person just nodded at Eric like it was already decided. Later, Eric cornered me in the hallway. His voice dropped. "Stay quiet at the will reading," he said, "or I make this legal." I stared at him. "You're lying." He smiled, slow and cold. "Prove it." My heart pounded, but something felt off. His papers, his timing, it didn't add up. I wasn't just hurt anymore, I was thinking. This wasn't about truth, it was about control. And for the first time that day, I stopped trying to defend myself. I started watching instead. That night, I sat alone and thought about every moment with my mom. What they didn't know was I documented everything. Every medication, every bill, every conversation. I had notebooks filled with dates, times, details. It started as a way to stay organized, but it became something more. My mom had insisted on recording certain talks. At first, I didn't understand why. She would say, "just in case." I trusted her, so I did it. We talked about money, about decisions, about what she wanted after she was gone. Her voice was calm in those recordings, clear,
certain. I had a plan they never saw coming. I also remembered the day she met with the family lawyer. Eric didn't show up. He said he was busy, but I was there. I watched her sign papers, ask questions, make changes. She wasn't confused, she wasn't weak, she was preparing. And now, sitting there, I felt something shift inside me. The truth wasn't gone, it was waiting.
After the funeral, Mr. Reynolds approached me quietly. He'd been our family lawyer for years, a calm man with careful words. "Your mother was very thorough," he said. "Don't lose hope." I looked at him closely. "You know what's happening." He gave a small nod. "I know enough." That was all he said, but it was enough. Across the room, Eric laughed with a group of relatives. "It's all straightforward," he said. "We'll sort the assets soon." Like I wasn't even there. People started agreeing with him openly. It was like they had already decided the ending. Mr. Reynolds leaned closer to me. "Attend the reading. Stay calm." I nodded. The pressure was building, thick and heavy, but underneath it, I felt something else. Control. Everyone expected me to fall apart, to be exposed, to be silent. But I wasn't. I watched Eric, his confidence growing, his voice louder, his story stronger. He thought he had already won, and that made what was coming even sharper. The room was set, the moment was waiting. We gathered in Mr. Reynolds' office the next day. The air felt cold, and the ticking clock on the wall sounded louder than anything else. Eric sat back in his chair, relaxed, almost smiling. Mr. Reynolds opened the file. "This is your mother's will." His voice was steady. He started reading. Names, small items, normal things. Eric glanced around, confident. Then Mr. Reynolds paused. "There is an additional statement." The room shifted. He continued. My mother's words filled the space, clear and firm. She spoke about her care, about trust, about me. Then came the recordings. My voice, her voice. Danielle never took anything that wasn't given with my full consent. The room went silent. Eric sat up. "This is ridiculous," he snapped. Mr. Reynolds didn't stop. He laid out the records, the logs, every detail. "These documents confirm all financial actions were authorized." Eric tried again. "This is being twisted." "Sit down," Mr. Reynolds said calmly. Then came the final part. My mother had limited Eric's control. She had named me executor. She had left specific assets to me, tied to my care for her. Eric's papers suddenly meant nothing. His story collapsed in front of everyone. Faces turned, but this time not toward me in judgment, toward him. I said nothing. I didn't need to. The truth was already louder than anything I could say. I walked out of that office slowly, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. Some relatives came after me, their voices softer now. "We didn't know," one said. I nodded, but I didn't stop. Eric stayed behind, his voice low, his confidence gone. I didn't look back. Outside, the air felt different, lighter. My mom had seen this coming. She had trusted me enough to prepare for it, and that meant more than anything. I wasn't weak, I was just underestimated. The pain was still there, quiet but real, but it didn't control me anymore. I had my truth, and it was enough. They tried to rewrite my story, but my mother's made sure the truth would outlive her. If you've ever been falsely accused or judged without knowing the full story, you understand this pain. Have you ever had to prove your truth to people who doubted you? Share your story in the comments. I want to hear it. Subscribe to stand with others who've been misunderstood. Click hype to help this story reach others who need it. Did this story hit home? Let me know by liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Click hype to help this story find others who felt the same way. Your support makes a huge difference, and your story might help someone else feel less alone. "Don't touch that casket. You've taken enough already," my brother snapped, grabbing my wrist in front of everyone. I froze as heads turned. "You think she didn't know?" he added. I swallowed hard because I knew something he didn't. "My name is Danielle Brooks, and I'm 34 years old.